Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. We are back. We are back. We are back with another episode of Talk the Ting Sports. We have our
Boys are back
Carol.
in town.
Why is the wood? Why is the wood?
Boy, life. Yeah, having some technical difficulties here, so and that's not my usual setup. So
Yeah, that's understandable,
trying
man.
and trying and figure that out, but we are here.
We appreciate the effort. We appreciate the effort.
Yeah man, yeah
So,
man, yeah man.
so everybody, as you guys know, as you guys already know, you could jump on with us. Really appreciate you guys jumping on with us. We had a pretty eventful weekend in the football world. We have a very interesting test match that just wrapped up in Australia with India and Australia, and then we also have very West Indies on the brink of taking a victory against Bangladesh in Antigua. So we're gonna cover a couple different sports tonight, not just football as we've done the last couple weeks. We want to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to share their views. Um, with that said, we could go straight into the football, transition to cricket a little bit later on in the show. So, Carol, which of them games this weekend, which ones you watched and which one stand out to you? Carol, you hear me? Oh, yeah, I don't think Carol could hear me, boy. So let's go through some of them games. So the biggest game we had this weekend was Spurs playing City at City's ground. And Spurs won that game 4-0. I don't think many people saw that coming.
Well, the one that stand out to me is the Tottenham City one.
Yeah. Yo, you can hear me, Carol? I don't know if your audio going in and out. But Tottenham and City played at the Etihad, and Spurs basically, as we like to say in Dominica, passed their hand on them. Right? We had two goals from James Madison, one from Pedro Porro, and one from Brennan
Yo,
Johnson.
yo.
Yo, can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, and
Oh, I wasn't hearing you the whole time.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that, man. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, no problem. So we're
Again,
just
poor connection. So
talking about the Spurs City game.
well, yeah, that was my pick for the surprise of the weekend. That was a real standout result in my mind. Because
Yeah,
I didn't see the entire game. I didn't see the entire game, but I watched like the first 20 or so minutes, and in my mind, the way that game start, I see Spurs gonna get a package.
you checking Spurs gonna get a package when the game start.
Like City was just
But your audio going in and out a lot. I
finding
don't know
all
what's
kinds
going.
of space on the wings behind the wing backs, and I could have swore City was going to score. I left home for a little bit, and when I checked the scores, it was 2-0. I say, nah, that can't be real. That can't be real. Yeah, that's what I thought.
But
Another
you basically
connection.
you saw the part of the game that I didn't see. I didn't see the first um 20 minutes of the game. By the time I tuned in, Spurs was already up 2-0, which I didn't expect at all. But hey, that's how it goes. So anyway, that was a big result for Spurs. Spurs seem to be the Jekyll and Hyde of the Premier League. Win one game against, beat United bad, beat City, and then lose to Ipswich, lose to some of the lower teams in the league. Spurs have a little bit of an inconsistent streak about them. So I don't know. We'll have to just see how it goes. See how it goes there. Hey, we are a partner back, boy. Welcome back, fella. Welcome back, partner.
Boy,
What is it with? What is it with?
what vibes.
Idea, man.
Good
Yeah,
evening,
Jordan. I see
and
Jordan looked saying Pep got too comfortable relying on Roger to fix his mess. Now he doesn't know what to do to fix it because it has become too complicated. But it looked like City without what's his partner name? Without Rodri, they're struggling. They're struggling big time. They're struggling big time. City without Rodri. Rodri just win the Ballon d'Or, but he out for the year with a what do you call it? An ACL injury. So City struggling big time. All right, we can go to the next game now. For the weekend. Next game we had Wolves beating Fulham 4-0. Mateus Cunha with a beautiful goal in this game. I didn't watch this game, but very, very um interesting game. Wolves, I thought the game would be closer than that. Wolves have been struggling for the year so far. And for some reason, Wolves was able to, eke out a big win there against Fulham. Fulham has been playing well for the season so far. We're gonna keep going for the results. We want to see anybody. If your comments, you can put your comments in the chat. Don't hesitate. Call in if you want to call in. I'm just gonna put the link in the chat, and you guys can call in and give you guys views. All right, click on that link and join us. Join us live. All right. So next game we had hardly. I know you don't watch football now. Eh? Well, the real football. Now what you have on you there? The real football.
no, not really, no.
We have
Yeah, boy.
Arsenal beating Nottingham Forest 3-0. Nottingham Forest has started the year pretty well, but Arsenal kind of put them to bed a little bit in this game. And we're gonna come back and give you guys a proper, recap of all these games, right? But we want to make sure that we just go through it because the main thing I want to talk about tonight is some cricket. As everybody knows, I'm a huge cricket fan. So we're gonna go into a little bit of the cricket and talk about the games that's going on and what are some of the things that we've seen so far with with the West Indies team. All right. We had Chelsea play Leicester, win that game 2-1. Chelsea winning that game 2-1. We had yesterday United playing Ipswich. This game ended up 1-1. This was Ruben Amorim's first game as the new coach of Manchester United. He's saying that we have a lot of improvement to do, so we'll have to see, how that goes over the next few weeks. We had Liverpool playing Southampton, and Liverpool, didn't need any help from from Southampton, but Southampton basically gifted them 2 goals, and Liverpool is right currently 8 points on top of the table. And then their next game is Man City. So if Liverpool win the next game, they're gonna be 11 points clear of Man City after I believe it'll be 13 games, which is a lot for Man City to make up, especially without some of their key players. And we're gonna when we have our next show on Wednesday evening, we're gonna talk a little bit more in detail about Man City and some of their struggles and what does the future look like for Man City as the current champions in England. All right. So we're gonna go to the next game. Well, actually, you know what? I think we're gonna stop the football right here and let's get into the cricket a little bit. Hardly. So let's go into the West Indies versus Bangladesh first test. I don't know. Have you
Yeah.
been watching much of that, Hadley?
Yeah, I've actually been following the entire game so far.
All right. Okay.
Um,
What's your thoughts so far?
I I I would say I was pleased with the batting performance, not of the top order batsmen though. Some of the middle order batsmen. I think they did very well. I think Ali can again. Ali keeps doing that. Ali keeps getting so close, you know. And the commentators, how did they say? How did they call it? The nervous 90s. We
Yeah,
saw that take hold of both Alec and Louis.
yeah.
I mean, the way they both got out to me was so uncharacteristic of a batsman that was set in the wicket for so long, scoring. Alec had a very shaky start, but we know how Alec batting. Alec likes to go after the ball,
Mhm.
whether it's a test match or whatnot. He likes to feel it. So he did that. So he was a little bit shaky. And then he got settled in, and then it was like, oh, 90 and 97. And I think it's just getting yourself in a frame of mind where you tell yourself, I'm gonna get that 100. Whether I have to face another 5 or 6 more overs to get those runs. I think they get a little bit too excited. Whether they get too excited to get there or they get a little bit too nervous, like, oh my God, am I gonna do it? And then they just fall apart. But I mean, Graves came in and Graves did it. He did it. And I was very impressed with the middle order batsmen. I noticed that they put Alec a little lower because normally Alec comes in at number 3, right?
He was batting four for the last couple
Four.
series because they had McKenzie when they went to Australia. They had McKenzie at 3, and then they brought Carty in now at 3. So Alec was batting 4, but it looked like he and Kavem switched position in the batting order.
Yeah, I think that's what they said. It was a deliberate switch. It wasn't like, and it worked out. Kavem started out batting nice, decent 25, but then again, but I have a question. I don't know if you might know the answer. We have no specialist spinners in the side doing, not one.
Yeah, so I mean we had Moti, right? But Moti was given permission to go to play in a T20 competition in Guyana, which is like they call it the Global T20, which is like a
Hmm.
new like T20 league with some teams from England and India and some places like that. As I don't know if you know, but Guyana recently has come into some real money because they discovered oil in Guyana. So
Hmm.
that's one thing where looking to kick off their own kind of T20 league. So Moti was given permission to go play in that. So they said they were quote unquote resting him and whatever, but he's playing in that competition. Um, I was kind of surprised. I guess if you go back to when the team was announced, I was kind of surprised that they went into the game with no specialist spinner. But I will say that the one place that I would say we are very good right now is in our fast bowling. Um,
Yes, yes.
so you know, it's not that the guys cannot necessarily hold their own. It's more of you know normally Antigua is a bit of a turning wicket, right? So you kind of like have to. Normally you would see them play off a spinner, and they picked Jomel Warrican from Barbados, and when he played against South Africa the last series at home, he
Yes,
did
again.
pretty well. So I was kind of surprised at the 11 that they didn't pick, a specialist spinner like you say. But also I do think, the last time we played Bangladesh too, we really bowled well at them for fast bowlers, right? So
Mm.
I could see why, possibly being the opposition and also possibly being that Moti was not available. Moti is the best spinner we have in the Caribbean. So, maybe the guys were saying, well, you know what, let's just go with our 4 fast bowlers. Um, the conversation, I guess, moving into the next game, which starts on Friday in Jamaica, is whether or not you will go back with the same 4 bowlers or maybe you give one of the bowlers a
Well,
rest.
Jamaica is normally fast wicket.
Yeah, but them guys bowled 90 something overs in the first innings, and then they only rested for about 45 overs while the guys were trying to accelerate the score. And look now, they're doing well. So I guess just a quick recap of the scores. So West Indies batted first. Bangladesh won the toss and sent West Indies into bat. West Indies batted first. West Indies scored 450 for 9. That was a really, really good effort because at one point we were about, I think we were 270 odd or 260 odd for 5 or 6,
I
something like
think
that.
four or five, yeah.
So I think it was a really good effort for us to get to 450. In that first innings, we had top scorer Justin Greaves finishing on 115 not out. We had Mikael Louis finishing on 97. And we had Alec Atanas finishing at 90. I know Alex telling say his name is Afanaz, but I know I grew up my whole life knowing it's Afanaz, so it's Afanaz I'm gonna say. So so in that first innings, I mean, in terms of those innings, Justin Graves, you would say played a flawless innings. You know, a man in form. And to be honest, I have to commend the West Indies Cricket Board for
When you say
make
inform, you have to give a little
yeah
backstory to
yeah
the
yeah
inform.
yeah. So when we say somebody's in form in cricket, that means they're really in good touch. Like they seeing the ball good, they're playing good cricket. You know, they're scoring runs. They feel good. You know, in the wicket. And most times,
And
if you
he
if you're a batsman and you inform, it's almost like as if you're playing the ball and you're not even thinking. You just whatever come, you're just playing it, and
and
that's how in touch you are.
he's also coming off a free consecutive at that
Yes.
Super 50 on 100 scores.
Yeah.
That's back to back to back scores of 100. And that kind of he basically took his spot on the team for that series. You know,
Hmm.
it wasn't handed to him. He literally did what he had to do to get there. And I mean, to do it three times back to back, and then to come into an international test match with bowlers of, I mean, international standard bowlers, and to still be able to carry that form into international cricket, test cricket at
Hmm.
that. And I think that's an issue we've been having with some of our cricketers is you see them doing so well in the regional tournament, some of them, and then you bring them onto the team and it's not that they are bad, but they're not as good as you really expected them. So it was very good to see him, sit in the wicket and score. Another thing that I noticed about his run scoring wasn't boundaries and stuff like that. His run scoring was like twos, you know, and threes. And when you have twos and especially threes, that means you have a batsman or you have two batsmen in the wicket that takes advantage of running between the wickets.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think that's something that's an issue that West Indies has, and it has somewhat carried over into Test cricket because in the one day and the T20, these guys rely on their hard hitting, and they have it, they can do it, so I can understand. But then some of those guys who are three-way players who play all three formats of the game, when they come into um the test match games, they're not as patient,
Hmm.
and they try to get that hard hitting and they get out. But he literally had like how many? He had like a
He had four
bunch of
boundaries.
twos.
He
Yeah,
had four
just four
boundaries in
boundaries.
115.
Yeah. And he had multiple twos and threes. And now if you look at Alec's style of batting, Alec had one or two sixes, but Ali had like seven fours.
Alec had in his 90. Alec had 10 fours and a
10
6.
fours. That's 40 runs coming in boundaries alone, which
Yeah,
isn't
40,
bad.
46
But
runs in boundaries.
right, but it just kind of shows you like the different style, and that's good. You need batsmen with different styles, but he was able to do that and score, get to that 100 without always getting to the boundary. And kudos to Kima Roach
Yeah.
was sitting in the that was a partnership of what 175 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Came out Roach on number 47. That in itself is a really good effort. I think that is
Man,
his
I
career
wanted Kima
high.
to score at 50. I wanted him because this man been playing cricket for 15 years.
Yeah.
And it would have been so nice on Saturday that he got to that 50. I mean, after 15 years playing, I think he is maybe the most decorated bowler on that field too.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
So it was pretty nice, man, and to see them, man. I just hope that they come in tomorrow and just
Yeah, I mean,
get
let me
set
get through the
all
rest of the
right.
scores. So the West Indies got 450 in the first innings. Then you had bowling for Bangladesh. The most was Hassan Mahmood, had 3 wickets for 87 runs. Then you go to Bangladesh. Bangladesh was bowled. Well, Bangladesh declared on 269 for 9. That in itself was a interesting decision
Yeah.
because um in my mind, it's a lack of tactical nous, if you want to call it that. If Bangladesh wanted to retire to be basic, maybe try to get West Indies out relatively quick to try to see if they could chase whatever target, then Bangladesh should have declared sometime towards the end of the day and let West Indies go in and bat, the last half an hour, see if you can get a couple wickets, the last half an hour. But they declared overnight.
No,
Um,
they didn't. Did they declare overnight?
yeah, they declared
No.
overnight. Yeah, yeah.
Be-
Because when
no,
they
but
when they because basically what happened was Bangladesh was batting, the light was bad, and they basically told the West Indies captain that he couldn't bowl any fast bowlers anymore. So he had to bowl the spinners. Now the only spinners he have is himself, Alec, and
have
Cavan.
them.
So he decided, well, I'm not gonna bowl the spinners. I'm just gonna, end the display. So I
Right.
don't know. Maybe Bangladesh had planned to, but I think the last guy, Taskin Ahmed, was trying to, be a little bit attacking. He and Alzari got into it a little bit towards the end of the day. Um,
I think I think they tried to pull one because from what the commentators said, that they only um relayed to West Indies 10 minutes before play that they declared. That's what they said on the
yeah.
commentary. And so it was also said that it was legal within the laws of the game.
No, no, no. Yeah, 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 for sure. I mean, when I
And
say
and
overnight,
and
and I'm saying, it happened like when they went walk the
right.
field. I'm just saying they
But
could they missed the trick because to me it would have been better if they had given West Indies to go face, 5 overs of batting towards the end of the day, because most likely guys tired, guys been in the field
But
all
it's
day.
but it still worked though. I guess they had two strategies and they went with this one because it still worked. Because what happened was West Indies thought that they were coming back out to bowl. So
Hmm.
they had their bowlers warming up, not their batsmen loosening up and stuff like that. They had their bowlers on the field warming up and stuff like that. And then 10 minutes before, you telling them that, you know what, we actually declare you're gonna go into bat. No, none of the batsmen not in any type
Yep,
of groove,
yep.
warmed up or anything like that. So I think it did it work. I think it did.
Yeah, I mean
Strategy
they took
actually
some
did
wickets. I
work.
mean, you could so if you look at what we had, the bowling figures for West Indies that in that first innings, you had Alzari Joseph with 3 for 69. Jaden Seals had a couple wickets as well. You had Justin Graves with a couple wickets. Kemar Roach with one and Shama Joseph with one. So, but then West Indies basically going into bat were bowled out for 152 in the second innings. West Indies, I don't think you could necessarily look at that and say, well, they were skedaddled for 152. They were attacking and trying to
No,
score
no,
quickly.
I think it was fine. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, had they been more prepared, had they known, then I believe the openers would have been more prepared.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But
Sure. I agree.
right,
Yep.
so yeah. But I mean, still kudos to Alec.
Yeah, Ali got to 42
Bittersweet
in the
again.
second innings. Yep, Ali got to 42. He top scored in the second innings.
Top
So
scoring in the second
in
innings.
general, it was a decent game for Alec. A half century, almost 100, and then almost another half century in the second innings. But that's the difference when you're playing that level of cricket, right? That level of cricket. When you start getting into the 80s and the 90s, you need to push on and get big hundreds. If you look at this guy from India, Jaiswal.
Jaiswal.
Jaiswal, when he get in and he score 100, he ain't scoring 100. He's scoring 150, 200. As he got on his debut, he played in Dominica and got a double century against West Indies on his debut.
Hmm.
So, I don't know. I feel like, part of the problem too, we could talk a little bit about that, is that our players, I feel, um, I will say this until the day I die, that West Indies produces some of the most talented cricketers, naturally talented cricketers in the world. But our players don't get to play at a high enough level to be ready for the highest level. So you find that guys like Alec and Kati and all these guys who are talented players, when they come to play in the international game, test level, that's when they're basically learning what type of players they are, right? They're not really learning that at the regional level, because you would think, I think Alec has, if I'm not wrong, almost 20 half centuries in regional cricket, but he only has 2 centuries, right? So that shows you that he has a little bit of a problem with converting his scores from 50 to 100, right? Because ultimately, what you want in a batsman to basically is to convert every other chance. So every time you get to 50, let's say every 2 times you get to 50, you want one of those to become 100, right? But that would be a good conversion rate, right? And you have some guys who play in the team, and they're averaging in the mid 30s and stuff like that in regional cricket. And debate, a lot of people will tell you that the regional cricket we have now is not necessarily the strongest that it's been. So with that said, I think all guys are learning on the job, and we have to be patient. I think we have a good young team. I'm happy that they are picking some guys and giving them a chance to actually come through, and not just dropping them after two bad scores, right? So and we have some other guys who are talented players, but they're not really interested in playing test cricket. I noticed today the IPL auction went, and Shea Hope was not picked at all by any team in the IPL. So I know he's
Hmm.
been pushing to play more, limited overs cricket one day, and T20. But obviously his stock, even if he played well in the CPL, T20, his stock is not that high in the IPL franchises. So I mean, it would be very good if I could see Shea Hope back in the test team. 'Cause I think he's one of the most talented players in the Caribbean. But
She-Hope look like you want to play more. Look like you want to play more T20, to be honest.
yeah, but you can want to play T20, but at the end of the day, the T20 that most people want to play is the IPL. That's why you make the big bucks. And if
Right.
no team picking you up, then you have to maybe reconsider. So I mean, I would like to see Shea Hope back in the fold. But anyway, so now West Indies got bowled out for 152 in their second innings, which was basically today. You had Alec stop going with 42. And then you had Taskin Ahmed for Bangladesh finishing with 6 for 64. That was his first 5 wicket haul in Test cricket. The guy been around for a little while. So congratulations to him there. And then Bangladesh now chasing 334 to win, to 335 to win. They um Bangladesh is currently at the end of day four 109 for 7. So West Indies only has to get 3 wickets tomorrow morning to wrap up this game, and to give these guys, the afternoon to go to the beach. So that's what them guys need to do. Come in tomorrow morning, bright and early, wrap that up in the first hour, and then you guys can go on the beach and relax and drink some margaritas. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So with that said, we're not gonna make this show too long tonight. We'll be back on Wednesday night with the whole quartet, so we could go over the football results and talk a little bit more about Man City and their troubles, and Man United and the nonsense that's going on at Old Trafford. We'll be back to talk about that. Justice, I see Rajiv has it. No, Rajiv. I see Hadley have his Ravens jersey on, and my Eagles are 9-2. I'll just say that, leave that there.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. It's okay, man. We,
yeah,
we
man,
don't have to
yeah, man.
worry. We don't have to worry about your 9-2 Eagles until the Super Bowl. So,
Well, if only get to the Super Bowl, that'd be good for us, because I mean Patrick Mahomes won't be there. So
oh my
let's
God,
take that.
nobody wants Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Nobody.
Yeah, man. All right, everybody. For the
All
people
right.
who tuned in, we really appreciate it. Thank you for joining. We'll be back Wednesday evening. Make sure you guys share the live. Make sure you guys subscribe. Support us the best you can. We're trying to make sure that we keep it consistent. Even if we give all you a half hour, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and we're talking about all kind of things, as you guys can see. Max Verstappen won the Formula One Grand Prix, the Drivers' Championship, over the weekend, right? So that was a big thing in Formula One. Lewis Hamilton had a really good race, but unfortunately the year for him was a bit up and down. But next year with Ferrari, we'll see what's going on. Anyway, my people, have a good night. Take it easy, and we'll talk. Peace.
All right, take care.